Hey, Sky here. Um, yeah, I'm feeling a real need to do a video because I'm feeling, uh, I try and be a positive person. I strive to try and find, the positivity in life, and it's really hard right now. I'm kind of feeling really let down. Just yeah. I mean, you know, I've had to go through something recently, and I was quite brave about it. Uh, I got diagnosed with cancer. It was a bit of a shock, but you got to deal with it. So I got operated on, and they told me they got all the cancer out. So, I should be over the moon, really. I should be having a party, cancer-free party. But then, they want to do like a preventative treatment with this radiation, and then put me on tablets for 5 years. And I'm struggling with that because I'm only just starting to feel better, recovering from the operation, and thinking, why on earth would I want to put myself through radiation therapy when I've been told I don't have any more cancer? It's like this insurance policy, like to prevent it from coming back, and, in case they said there's some like microscopic cancer cells, which, they can't detect on any of their equipment, but, it might be there. So they zap the area, kill everything around it, do some damage to you in the meantime. They tell you, oh, it might burn your skin a bit and might blister it. It could cause a problem with your lungs. You can get a cough, which they'd have to treat with steroids. And what else? Oh, it can make your ribs sore. And in 15 years' time, you could come down with cancer, which is a different cancer. It's cancer related to radiation. And, they tell you these things. They say, we got to tell you these things, I think, okay, you've told me these things. And now I'm not so keen, Like, not that I was keen before. And I had this choice as well with the operation where, because it was breast cancer, if I had had my whole breast removed, just, I wouldn't have had to go through radiation because there wouldn't have been, I guess, any possibility of any microscopic bits of cancer because they removed the whole breast. I elected just to have the cancer removed. And then I was told we got it all because they have to take it out and get a millimeter of clear, healthy cells around the tumor they take out. And I was told that happened. So they got the clear margins, and I am now seen as cancer-free. That's what I want to think about. Well, I got this pressure on me to do this radiation therapy. you know, coming from, my family, and I guess the professionals who say, yeah, this is what you got to do next. The surgeon refers you to the oncologists, and that's their job, do the radiation. I've already decided I wouldn't take the drugs because prior to my operation, I agreed to do a drug trial, which is really not something I would ever do because I can't take tablets. I can't take pharmaceuticals without getting terrible side effects. It doesn't matter what they are, whether they're for depression or pain or if I get antibiotics. I mean, they all have an awful effect on me. I don't know how people take tablets every day. I really don't. But obviously they somehow cope and, it must help them. But they don't help me, you know? But again, this is like part of their treatment. This is what they say, to keep the cancer away, you need to go on these tablets for 5 years. It's like, yeah, no, I don't want to do that either. This preventative stuff, Like, what I want to know is if people don't do these things, are they really more likely to get the cancer? Is it more likely to come back? I haven't heard, they haven't given me any, statistics, well, if you do it, this chance of it coming back is this percentage. If you don't do it, it's, you know what I mean? Like that. Normally, it's like when they do drug trials, like when I did the drug trial, I could have got the placebo, but I didn't. My luck was I got 2 drugs to take, which I had to take 2 weeks prior to my operation, 2 weeks up until my operation. And I'll tell you, after the operation, it all hit me so badly. I felt awful. I was collapsing on the floor. My heart hurt. It was beating really hard. So I could barely stand up. Well, I couldn't even get to the toilet, put it to you that way, without falling. It was awful, but I've recovered. It's been over 6 weeks. I'm not back to the way I was before the operation or before the drug trial, but I'll never be back to where I was. It's like, the pandemic is like, yeah, we're going to get back to the way, eventually we'll get back to the way life was. But do you ever go back? You can't ever go back to the way life was because you can't go back. You can't go back in time, So I don't expect to be back to where I was before because then I would have I'd have to go through it all over again, So I'm struggling because, I don't want to feel so, just let down by life. It's like, what more do I have to do, to achieve health or happiness or whatever, it's just such a struggle to feel happy, because it's always like something else you got to deal with, more pressure on me to, go through these treatments. Wasn't it enough? Like, I'm the one who found the cancer. I noticed the lump. I've never been offered a mammogram. Never once in over 20 years of being, with the surgery and even my new surgery. I never once offered it. And I don't get it. They should be doing that with all women. I get loads about the cervical pap smear things, but never a mammogram. And, when I found out I had cancer, breast cancer, suddenly all these women who've had problems with, or who've had breast cancer, suddenly you realize, wow, it's really quite common, just amongst like people my family know, and then suddenly I've got it. Like, you always think it's going to be someone else until it's you, and then you think, well, yeah, why should I be able to skip out on the cancer? So many people get it these days. So, yeah, it's a real struggle. And, I didn't tell a lot of people. I didn't really want to tell many people. I didn't want people to worry or, make big deal out of it, really. But couple people, couple friends, couple close friends, I told. And they're not really the ones that have been around much, They're kind of like, haven't really turned up much to see how I am or even call or really inquire through, like, all my post-op stuff and my recovery, And that's kind of hurt. Like, I just think, bloody hell. People are just so caught up in their own stuff. They don't really, pay much attention. And, my family, they've been obviously, like my mom, been worried and stuff, but with the worry comes the pressure, when someone's worrying, then you got more pressure to kind of get better quick and try and sort it all out. And I'm just exhausted, I mean, I had major health issues prior to the cancer. My life was a struggle every day, just getting through every day without the cancer. And now I can think, well, I'm back to that. I'm back to my other problems, my other health issues. And really, I don't have cancer. I mean, that's what they said. They got it all. But this like ongoing pressure over the cancer. It's like, oh, you got to do the radiation, And then you got to do this stupid drug. And I don't want to do either of them. I'm just exhausted. I just kind of want to be left alone for the most part. Like, it's not really much of a problem that I'm not seeing people, really. But I guess you just want to feel like there are people out there that care, and that are concerned. And people don't often take much action to show that. They might be thinking about me, but, like, it'd be nice, like, if they just even just rang up, said you're all right. But I don't get much of that. So, yeah, it's been hard. It really is. And it's hard, like, to find things that are positive, that are happening, out in the world, apart from my own life, but struggling to see that as well. I mean, on top of it, I had my housing officer come around, leave a note about my garden. It's like, what's wrong with my garden? This thing's growing in it, but, without fail, the people that own my flat, own the property, and they still, they just want to control it and say, oh, you got to do this, you got to cut it. And, like, it's the only pleasure I have is my garden, putting some nuts and seeds out for the wildlife, and just feeling like I'm doing something to help the planet. And people just want to come around and cut things like nature is somehow a nuisance. Like it's a tree. What's it doing to you? You know what I mean? Like seriously? Like, people are just so caught up in their narrow sort of um, I don't know, maybe jobs, or, you know, they, they just don't look at the whole picture, you know? They just see this tiny, minute thing, decide it's a problem, and want to kill it off, you know? They want to zap me with radiation because might have something microscopic cancer lingering, and by doing that, it's going to cause me lots of discomfort and pain, and just like the people that want to come around and cut my garden and ruin it for the wildlife, you know. Every branch, I think, is there for the birds to sit on, you know. And then every time they cut a branch, I think that's one less place a bird can go that I could see, you know. And it's just hard to find any positivity out in the world right now and in my life. It really is a struggle. You know, it's like never ending struggles, you know, and I know mine are probably nothing compared to other people, you know. Some other people, like my mom used to say, there's always someone who's got worse off than you, and that sucks. You know what I mean? And then, you know, the poor animals, the poor animals, you know, that get used for all sorts of horrible things by humans, you know, whether it's for food or clothing or sport. It's just like, the human race is really just despicable. It really is. I'm not saying there aren't good people out there, because there are. But, you know, unless you're really doing something like positive to help the world and the planet, it just seems like there's just no point, really. Because there's so much badness and so many people that just don't care about anything or anybody. And that's what I feel like I'm surrounded by mostly. You know, I guess the only thing positive are the vegans who actively campaign for the animals, and people like that care about the environment, the eco warriors, you know, the ones that are sitting in trees trying to save them because they want to put some new railway system through Britain and through all these lovely woodlands. You know, those are the people that give me hope. You know, the warriors, the people that stand up for, you know, the people that are ignored and badly abused, and, you know, there's so much of that going on as well, you know, it just doesn't end. You know, a recent shooting in America where some stupid person goes and shoots and kills Asian women, you know, completely racially motivated. And then the police come out and pretty much almost like defend his actions and said he was having a bad day, you know? Are you joking? Is that what you do when you have a bad day? Kill people? Fucking hell. Try to excuse his murdering people, innocent people, because he was having a bad day. Awful. There's just so many awful people. And it's hard to kind of live today, it really is. I mean, I know people are having children and they're going to carry on having children, but gosh, what a world to bring children into. Let's hope we can just save it, because it's what we're doing mostly is not really helping. Not helping the planet. Not really helping each other. It's a difficult time. So I've rambled on about all my problems, which hasn't solved them. I don't know how to really. I do feel lost. Hopefully somehow I'll figure it out. I guess I just gotta keep fighting and fighting for the causes that need fighting. I'm trying to keep myself healthy so I can keep doing that. So, wish us luck, and I hope everybody out there, if anyone's listening, can have, a good purposeful life, free of suffering, because there's so much suffering. I don't have any answers really, except for to keep fighting on. And every day is a blessing, really, because where there is life, there is hope. Sky blue.